Give the call to the Manager of Opposition Business.
My question is to the Prime Minister. In 2019, the Prime Minister said population growth driven by migration was causing strain on our big cities and was a wake-up call to fast-track spending on major road and rail projects. But in this year's budget, there is no new spending on major infrastructure projects in our capital cities. If the Prime Minister thought this was an issue in 2019, why has he done nothing about it now he's in power? And there are an extra 1.5 million people who will come to Australia over 5 years.
The Prime Minister has the call.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. And I thank whoever suggested that they give me a question on infrastructure. I thank them very much, whoever the member of the Tactics Committee was who put that forward. We've already said, of course, on the issue of migration, 2019, they were in government, and their projections, of course, when they were in government, were for higher migration than we have today. Higher numbers. That is the fact. That is the fact. That is the fact. So one of the things that's happened, and I'll go through it. I'll go through one example really clearly, so that somehow they get this. When you used to have students arrive to Australia who produce an income, and they count as part of the norm. Students were coming, and first year come, and other people finish their degree, they go. What happened? There was a pandemic, and people didn't come, so they weren't there to go. What's happened now is the economy has opened up, and students are coming to start their degrees, but they're not leaving because they haven't finished their degrees. It is not hard. And when
Order. Prime Minister will just pause for a moment. Members on my right will cease interjecting. The Minister for Veterans Affairs, the Manager of Opposition, on a point of order.
Relevance, Mr Speaker. The question is not about the people who are coming. The question is, why did he say infrastructure was needed in 2019, but he now says it's not needed?
The question also included the proposition about 1.5 million people coming to Australia. I think that's what the Prime Minister is referring to in his answer, so I'm just going to ask him to continue.
I certainly am. They don't even read their own questions before they ask them, Mr Speaker. And he's in charge of their tactics.
Order. The Prime Minister will continue with his answer.
So, when it comes to infrastructure, indeed, we will be a nation-building infrastructure government.
The member for Wannon.
And one of the things that we've done is to have to reassess programs that weren't part of commitments that we made because of their incompetence when it comes to infrastructure. And we saw that in project after project, where projects that were worth hundreds of millions of dollars were promised with funding attached to them worth $50 million or $40 million, and no state agreement, no partnership agreement, no process to actually deliver them, because they were incompetent when it comes to infrastructure. And the best example of that, of course, is Inland Rail, where a project that began in single digits of billions of dollars of cost had now been costed at $31 billion.
The member for Riverina.
With literally being Inland Rail, because it doesn't go to a port anywhere. It doesn't go to Brisbane Port, didn't go to Gladstone Port, and didn't go to Melbourne Port. So they had a project riddled by incompetence. So we had to do a review of that, and these projects are important, but you've actually got to get it right. Got to get it right.
Prime Minister's
and just as this bloke got Badgerys Creek...
concluded.